Hey there, geeks! You're listening to Real Geek News,
our bi-weekly podcast where we geek out about movies, TV, and everything genre entertainment.
That's right, I'm Kevin Andrew Rivera.
And I'm Raul Ceballos.
We got 2 weeks worth of news to talk about, so without further ado,
let's get geeky!
We got our main topics today to talk about. As
That's
we're
right.
doing a bi-weekly thing, we do 5 main topics for all you new listeners. So, Raul, we got our first main topic here today.
What's our first main topic, Kevin?
We got our new Supergirl cast for the DC universe. So,
Right.
This comes to us from Deadline. House of the Dragon actress Millie Alcock has landed the coveted role of Supergirl in James Gunn and Peter Safran's new DC universe. The Australian-born Alcock played the young Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen in the first season of HBO's Game of Thrones spin-off House of the Dragon. She beat out Coda actress Emilia Jones and Meg Donnelly, the latter who voiced Supergirl in such DC animated movies as Legion of Superheroes and Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. There's been buzz that the new Supergirl will appear in Gunn's Superman Legacy, which is about to go before the cameras in Georgia, but that's not 100%. What we know is that she'll appear in a DC-based project before starring in her solo feature film, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. No director has been announced for Supergirl, the project first announced at DC Studios Press Day a year ago. It's based on Tom King's 2022 comic book series on which Bilquis Evely was the illustrator. So, real quick thoughts on this. Millie Alcock, I originally heard the news and went, oh no, because in my mind, I didn't see her face. I didn't see her as Supergirl. I couldn't see it. But then then I saw the other actresses, not Millie Alcock, Emilia Jones and Meg Donnelly, and I was like, oh my God, these girls look exactly like Supergirl. They could have been, Raul. But then here's what happened is I started looking up all of their work, and I started seeing what kind of acting they could all bring to the table. And then I started reading up more on what type of project this Supergirl movie is going to be about, like this comic book is about. And you have a darker, much darker Supergirl who has a little bit of an attitude and, has a dark side to her. So she is the Henry Cavill Superman of this universe, So there's something about her that needs to have that dark vibe about her. And when I see Emilia Jones and Meg Donnelly, yes, they can bring that to the table, but not the way Millie Alcock can. And if you've seen House of the Dragon, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen House of the Dragon, what are you waiting for? It is incredible. That show is so good. Raul, have you not seen it?
No, I have not. No, I have not. But I've heard she's really great in it, and from everything I've heard, she sounds like a really good fit. I mean, she looks like, looking at pictures of her, she looks like Kara Zor-El. She looked like she could do it.
Millie Alcock?
Yeah.
I agree now. Because at first I was like, I don't see it. No, look at these two girls. But then more and more they've been putting out more photos of Millie Alcock, like not looking like her Rhaenyra look.
She looks the part.
Like, okay, I get you. But also, the more important thing is that she's a great actress, and when you bring a great actor to a great project, you have a great story to tell, hopefully,
Yeah.
But, those are my 2 cents. Raul, what else do you think about all this, my dude?
No, unfortunately, I have not seen House of the Dragon. So again, I can't really speak to any of this as far as her acting prowess and how that can be applied here. But I've heard great things about her. And yeah, I mean, I can just assume because House of the Dragon and the Game of Thrones franchise, if you will, there's a lot of conniving and backstabbing and a lot of dark stuff going on, and everybody's so intense and so I feel like somebody like her, who's part of a cast like that, part of a world like that, I'm sure she can bring the acting chops to be able to portray a dark character, like what Kara is supposed to be portrayed as in this movie. If it's being based on the Woman of Tomorrow, and everything we know about Woman of Tomorrow, like you said, super dark, super intense. So
not to mention, I will also say that when I looked at Emilia Jones and Meg Donnelly more in footage of whatever they've done in their interviews, they don't look as much of like a young girl in her late teens or early 20s anymore. Like they look like they're in their mid 20s going into their late 20s. And Millie Alcock, I think, is like 29. And she does not look it to me based on how she's presented herself to the press and other stuff like that. She looks like she's supposed to be a teenager. So like I believe it wholeheartedly. And I think if you do watch House of the Dragon and you're a fan of that series, there is this attachment now mentally that this is the little girl version of a character, you know? Oh, it's such a good show. She's so good, like, at being internal. It's all internal for her. And, you know, it's also a British show, so British shows are very much of, we don't like to communicate how we really feel about things. We like to be passive-aggressive about it. And I'm like, oh, man, that'll be so good for Supergirl if they can get her to channel that.
Just in general, all the actors they've had come in for Game of Thrones and now House of the Dragon, just in general, the caliber of acting coming from that show. I mean, these guys have gone on to do great things. A lot of them, you know, great actors. So just the caliber of actors that get drawn to a show like this, you know, I feel pretty confident in saying that I'm sure she'll do a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then, I guess that takes it away then.
Got nothing more to offer.
Well, I was trying to think of how to get to another segue to get to the next thing, but there's no segue for this. We just got our next
Game
topic.
of Thrones, there's a lot of games involved in Game of Thrones. And speaking of games, Kevin,
good.
Take it away.
You know, that deserves a good cheer, you know? Oh, no, my cheer button isn't working. Oh, no. Oh, there it is, my cheer button.
No boo?
Oh, see, well, no. There's a lot of technical difficulties today for me, so there is no booze. Only joy!
Good.
So
That's fine with me.
We got our next topic here. The new Indiana Jones video game, The Great Circle. This comes to us from Gizmodo. We've watched a lot of Indiana Jones stories over the years, but we've rarely ever been able to put on the fedora ourselves. That changes later this year with the release of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for Xbox. Set between the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Temple of Doom is a prequel, remember, players will take control of the world's most adventurous archaeologist, he's dangerous too, on a globe-trotting one-player adventure that's largely a first-person game. It goes on to say, the year is 1937, reads the official description. Sinister forces are scourging the globe for the secret to an ancient power connected to the Great Circle, and only one person can stop them. Indiana Jones. You'll become the legendary archaeologist in this cinematic action-adventure game from Machine Games, the award-winning studio behind the recent Wolfenstein games series, and executive produced by Hall of Fame game designer Todd Howard. Raul, I want to know your thoughts on this because you are one of the biggest Indiana Jones fans I know. So what do you think about this, first and foremost?
Of course. Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of the Indiana Jones franchise, all three of those movies. And Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite film of all time. For those of you who've been listening to our show, you know this about me. This trailer already looks way better than Dial of Destiny was to me. Dial of Destiny, again, we never had an official review episode about it. Just because we didn't want to, because I was just so depressed coming out of that movie. It made me appreciate Kingdom of the Crystal Skull even more after having watched Dial of Destiny. So this game is, yes, this is where Indy lives. Like anytime they try to, and I get it, Harrison Ford is getting older, so it's like you kind of have to update him and put him in the, you know, a more current time period. But honestly, for me, Indiana Jones is World War II, the 40s, you know, fighting Nazis. This is where he's at home for me, you know. This is Indiana Jones to me, him fighting Nazis. And so I love that we're getting a story set in between Raiders and Last Crusade where he's just another quest fighting the Nazi forces, and it looks great. The gameplay looks really cool. I love what they're doing with the whip. All the whip stuff, I cannot wait to play that and like see what they do with the whip play and all that fun stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not a big gamer. I don't have a lot of games because I don't have a lot of time to play video games. So I only got a few. But this is one of those games that I want to buy and put on my very, very small shelf of, of games. But, however, it is an Xbox exclusive game. And I am so upset about that because I have a PlayStation. I don't have an Xbox.
You wouldn't want to just buy an Xbox just to play Indiana Jones?
Yeah. Yeah,
Totally.
Sure. I can just slap down the money right now. Sure. I can just buy an Xbox whenever, willy-nilly. Yeah, no problem.
Ask your daughter for some money. See what she's saving.
Oh, yeah. I'll have my daughter give me an allowance. No, so it sucks. So hopefully I'm going to have to leech off to somebody else and play on their Xbox. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just... No, I won't do that.
It's on PC.
I was about to say, maybe I'll just buy the game anyway and just so I have it. Despite the fact that I don't have an Xbox.
And and then you get Harrison Ford to sign it, and then get Troy Baker to sign it, because as a voice actor, we have to
Jesus, Troy Baker, man. He's killing it, man.
He is the voice of Harrison Ford in this game, or
Indiana
Jones. Yeah, and he sounds great. He sounds awesome. It's also I've been noticing that lately there've been there's a trend of movies from the 80s coming back as video games. So, we had the Alien game starting to come back.
Right.
We just had a RoboCop video game come out, and it's also first person, dead or alive, you're coming with me. I'm so
you
glad
have that one?
I don't have that one, but I've seen a bunch of gameplay and it looks super cool.
I bet our buddy Chad has played it already.
Oh, 100% Chad's played this already. But now you got Indiana Jones, and so that's really cool. And you know what? Let me go back, because you were talking about the Dial of Destiny, which, I went to watch it with Raul. I agree that movie's not as good as it could be. However, the first 15 minutes of the movie, awesome.
Yes.
And
okay.
The game feels like it's the 15 minutes extended into what it needed to be. So
I forgot I was gonna make that point, and I forgot. Yeah. As much as I hated Dial of Destiny, my favorite part was when they were in the 40s fighting Nazis. So again, anytime they're dealing with Indy and the Nazis in the 40s, it runs on all cylinders for me. Yeah. So yeah, you reminded me of that point that I had forgotten to make. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I got you. Yeah, don't worry, because I was thinking it too. We got the same mindset here. But no, I think I'm definitely willing to try this if I can get an Xbox, or if I get it on PC, because Xbox and PC always do the same stuff together. And you could do, I think they have the Xbox Live or Xbox Game Pass, I think it's what it's called. I don't know. I'm a PlayStation guy.
That sounds right. Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, but you'd have to be real courageous to jump from PlayStation to Xbox. Not only courageous, you'd have to be a daredevil. Am I right, Raul?
So many people have stopped listening to our show.
Oh, thank you, everybody. Good night, everybody. I wish I had the music. I could just play it right now. See you later, everybody. But no, we actually have our next topic here. Raul, take it away.
Our next topic. All right, strap in, guys, because here's the thing. It's been only 2 weeks since our last episode, but let me tell you something. There has been so much Daredevil news in the past 2 weeks. I figure we just lump them all together and go through it all, and then we'll talk about it all at once, right? So I think right before our previous episode aired, they did confirm that indeed Daredevil is part of the Netflix, or the Netflix Daredevil is part of MCU canon. They put if you go and on Disney Plus, you know how you've got that column or that row that says MCU timeline order. They put the Netflix shows in the MCU timeline on Disney Plus. So, and if that's not enough for you guys, if that's not enough confirmation, here's all the stuff that's been coming out about Daredevil for the past 2 weeks. So here we go. I'm just going to run through them like rapid fire. All right. So here it is. So let's run through them, shall we? So Daredevil Born Again, no longer 18 episodes, right? So CBR, CBR said it's going to be a little shorter, so here's the quote. Daredevil Born Again won't be quite the saga that it was expected to be, according to a new report. And I'm going to skip down a little bit because we got to go through a lot of stuff. So they eventually say Daredevil Born Again will no longer be 18 episodes, but will instead be more in line with the original Netflix series model of lower episode counts. So yeah, so they're cutting that a little bit shorter.
So how many episodes is it going to be?
They don't say exactly how many episodes, but they're cutting it down. So usually, like for example, they go on to say each of the 3 seasons of Daredevil they originally streamed at Netflix were 13 episodes each. So we can kind of gather from that. Basically, that might be how long it might, which I'm fine with. But we'll go back to that. So Vincent D'Onofrio talked on CBR. He talks about why Daredevil went in a new direction. Basically, he said in an interview during our restart of all the creatives on Daredevil Born Again, all the creatives got together and said, look, this is how we've got to do it now, D'Onofrio says. So we are for sure only speaking about it in terms of directly connected to the original Daredevil, and that's a great thing. It brings in a lot of cool stories and all the collateral story that happened in those original 3 seasons. So so he's confirming and basically talking about the new direction. If that's not enough for you, if that doesn't convince you enough, here's another thing. Stunt coordinator from the original Netflix series is coming back. So Heroic Hollywood says that fans have been worried about how Daredevil Born Again will adapt Matt Murdock in the MCU. Goes on to say that, let's see, according to the Hollywood Reporter, they revealed that Philip Silvera, the fight and stunt coordinator for the original Netflix, Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix, will be returning for the Disney Plus revival. If that's not enough, guys, John Bernthal has been confirmed to come back as Punisher.
What?
THR, I'm super excited about that one. THR says, not only are Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio reprising the roles from the Netflix series of Daredevil, Matt Murdock, and Kingpin Wilson Fisk, respectively, but John Bernthal is back as the vigilante known as the Punisher. And guys, again, if that's not enough, if you are not convinced, Wilson Bethel returning as Bullseye from Deadline. Wilson Bethel, who played Benjamin Poindexter Bullseye on Netflix Daredevil, is reprising his role on Disney Plus's upcoming Daredevil Born Again, sources confirmed to Deadline. I hear he is set to appear in 3 episodes of the series, one of the sources said, which is now filming. Rep from Marvel declined to comment, so that's interesting. And then finally, finally, a set photo came out recently. I think some set footage also came out showing they're filming. They're back up and running after the strikes and all that stuff. They had like a hiatus. Back up and running now. They're filming again. Set photos, set videos released of Charlie Cox, Deborah Ann Woll, and Eldon Henson all together. Matt, Foggy, and Karen all together walking through the streets and talking and having the same kind of connections to the original show. Finally confirming they are indeed returning as Karen and Foggy. So this is it. I mean, it's all canon, man. It's all canon. The proof is right here. All these news stories, everything coming out.
Everything's canon?
Okay, well, that does remain to be seen, but at least it seems like, at least in the Daredevil world, everything's canon. John Bernthal Punisher, probably canon. Everything else, Jessica Jones,
What about Iron Fist? Do you think Iron Fist is canon?
Hey.
The reason I ask is because I'm like, am I going to have to watch Iron Fist now? Am I going to have to watch Iron Fist and then Luke Cage and then everything else now?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. I wonder if you're Marvel and you're like, okay, let's make the Netflix shows canon. It's like, well, where do you? Okay, so does that mean Jessica Jones is canon? Does that mean Luke Cage? Does that mean Iron Fist? The very poorly received Iron Fist. There's a lot of questions you got to answer now. Marvel needs to answer now that they've decided to include the Daredevil series as canon, because with the Daredevil series comes a lot of other stuff, and if you're going to say it's canon, you can't accept it as canon and not acknowledge the rest. So I don't know.
Although
I don't know.
You could do this, because this is what I've done is, as soon as Charlie Cox showed up as Daredevil in Spider-Man, then I was like, okay, time to watch Daredevil on Netflix. Because now if you're...
I'm rewatching it right now. Oh, it's amazing. Just as good as the first time I saw it.
Fantastic show. I'm a big fan of season 1 and 2, but then once we get to season 3, I'm like, man, it's just so dark now that I kind of need a Daredevil to lighten them. Yeah, like I need a brighter, happier Daredevil after
Well, go watch She-Hulk then, and you can get that.
And to be honest, it did give me that, which was kind of like, listen, I'm not a fan of the She-Hulk series because I didn't think it was as funny as I'd hoped it would be. But like, it was still nice to see a happier Daredevil that was more peppy and chip on his shoulder kind of guy,
Right.
But yeah, this whole thing kind of just, it's interesting because it goes back to Bob Chapek and Bob Iger. So the whole thing of, the CEOs of Disney, when they were trying to switch the banner or switch the flag to the next person that was going to lead Disney, Bob Chapek made all these decisions that basically neutered Kevin Feige, who, runs Marvel, and basically was like, this is what I want you to do with Marvel now. And so Kevin Feige just had to work with it, whereas it felt like Bob Iger was much more understanding about the creatives in his company and said, hey, we don't want to treat this as like a numbers thing. Just go and be creative, do the thing you have to do, and if people respond to it, great. That was Bob Iger's point of view. So now that we're switching back from Bob Chapek, now Bob Iger's over here going, well, listen, we've screwed you up like crazy, Kevin, so let's try to unscrew. So what can we
just
do?
You, Kevin, specifically for you.
Yeah,
he did all this for
Kevin.
you.
just for me specifically. God damn you, Bob Chapek. But like basically, they're thinking, what can we do to make this a smooth transition for Kevin Feige again, so that we don't stress him out? Clearly, one of the easiest things to do is just to reconnect all the Netflix stories. Because if the Born Again series was already not working after 18 episodes and, shooting that series, Kevin Feige sat in, didn't like what he was watching. We don't have time to be coming up with a new story and plot line. Why don't we just bring in somebody that can continue the series? Who knows Daredevil more than these writers that we just fired? Oh, I know, the guys who've been writing Daredevil for the past 12 years. I don't know, I'm exaggerating the number, but like, since Daredevil season 1 on Netflix started, let's bring back that entire team and bring back those writers and continue their stories, because clearly they know what they're doing, and it's no sweat off my back if I can at least know that I can trust these guys to do this, Yeah, it's a mess, though. It is definitely a mess.
It is a mess that we're hopefully starting to see the beginnings of being cleaned up and kind of getting back in the right direction we need to go. And it sounds like, from what we've heard about the production of Daredevil Born Again, them having to scrap it because they just realized this isn't working. We have the Netflix Daredevil that makes, if we use that would make sense here. And that's what they realized, that the Netflix Daredevil, it had to be that, because it just made more sense being part of whatever story that they want to tell in relation to that show, with the MCU. They just realized it made more sense than trying to do this other thing where they're kind of cherry picking, it's kind of the same Matt Murdock, but it's kind of different. Here's, it's Wilson Fisk, but he's got a Hawaiian shirt now, but they realized at some point that it made more sense to do this. And it sounds to me like they're starting to pump the brakes now. Marvel is starting to pump the brakes a little bit and kind of step back and be like, time out, wait a minute. Let's take stock of everything here and let's start focusing in on what needs to be kind of cleaned up. Yeah. What are we doing here? Now that Kevin Feige's kind of got a little bit more authority again, we're starting to see, hopefully, the MCU get back on track. And it's little things like this that I'm happy to hear that they're actually taking the time to think about these things a little more. And if they have to scrap and start again, well, that's what they got to do.
Yeah, and also just the whole multiversal thing kind of gives leeway for everything at the moment, because it is both a trap and a gift for them, because on one end, the multiverse is confusing so many generic or general audience goers that are trying to watch a movie and just have fun. You don't want to intimidate moviegoers that come into the theaters and go, wait, so this Iron Man knows Morbius? No, that's a different thing. But then what about this universe? The bird guy met the vampire. So isn't that the same as the Hulk? No. That's already bad enough
Yeah.
as it is. So we're trying to figure that out. So
Yeah.
yes, we got to pull back. But then behind the scenes as well, we have reasons to just kind of tell people, no, fans, don't freak out. Writing wise, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna recast people. We're gonna move things around so that these projects can make more sense for us, and we can all just go back to having fun and having that crazy Marvel magic. But you know, speaking of the Marvel magic of replacements, this moves on to our next topic here.
Yeah.
We have Steven Yeun is being replaced as Sentry for Marvel. So Marvel's working on their latest film, Thunderbolts, which is basically like a darker Suicide Squad version of the Avengers. So this comes to us from Screen Rant. According to Deadline, Top Gun Maverick's Louis Pullman has joined the cast of Thunderbolts, replacing Yeun. The actor was previously revealed to be in consideration for the role. The confirmation of Pullman's casting came at the same time that Thunderbolts lost another cast member, with the Bears' Ayo Edebiri exiting the movie and her mystery character getting recast with Miracle Workers' Geraldine Viswanathan. I think I butchered that name. Here we go. In the role. While Thunderbolts cast includes many returning MCU fan favorites, the team would be ill-suited to take on Sentry as the Void. Sebastian Stan's Bucky Barnes will lead the Thunderbolts, with the rest of the team being made up of Hannah John Kamen's Ghost, David Harbour's Red Guardian, Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova, Olga Kurilenko's Tank Master, and Wyatt Russell's U.S. Agent. While the team features a few super soldiers, there are no Hulk or Thor-like characters who could take on Sentry if things go bad, which raises the stakes for Thunderbolts. I know it's still a rumor about Red Hulk, but I think they got a Hulk.
Yeah, come on. This is...
You can't not have a Hulk. And
wasn't there like a Lego set, picture of a Lego set released not too long ago about either Captain America or the Thunderbolts showing a Red Hulk?
Yeah, but
yeah, who knows? That may have been before they decided to rework Captain America and all that stuff. But we'll see. Let
me bring this up though real quick, because earlier in this little paragraph we read here, it said the Bears' Ayo Edebiri exiting the movie a while back. I can see this. Like, if none of you have seen The Bear, go on Hulu and watch The Bear. She is incredible in it. The show itself is just incredible. It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's Fantastic Four. I'll see myself out. But no, so to me, when I hear actors like this are already leaving, I'm already thinking, oh no, like, is it because the writing's bad? Is the project not working out? Is this something Bob Chapek was forcing before and Kevin Feige just had to oblige? Why are there only superhumans like Captain America types in this entire gang of Thunderbolts? You know, like, there's so many questions I have. All I can do is just wait for the first trailer to drop and just see if it'll excite me. But what do you think about this, Raul?
Well, I wonder if a lot of it has to do with probably the strikes, because was it Steven Yeun that said that it had to do with, you know, because of all the time away from acting and the strikes and all that stuff, he had to kind of rework his schedule, right? So now he's no longer able to do this, because right, and so he pulled out of that. So I think it could be the same for oh my goodness, what's her name?
Ayo Edebiri?
Ayo Edebiri, yeah. So it could be the same with her.
Yeah, but how often? I think as I was reading this article, there were so many other people that they were listing off that were claiming that it was their scheduling conflicts due to COVID. And in my mind, I was like,
well, I was thinking the strike, but
or the strike as well. In my mind, I was thinking, like, is this just everybody's excuse to get away from this project now? Or it's starting to seem like this repetitive
conspiracy theory going on here.
Conspiracy. Let me put on my tinfoil hat over here. But you know, I guess for this specific project, I've become more of a pessimist, because I've the only good things I've heard about this is that Bucky's gonna be in it and Red Guardian's gonna be in it. Those are the only two things that make me go, ooh. Yeah. But like, other than that, I'm like, okay, cool. This awesome dude's coming. Oh, never mind. He's not coming over here. Okay. Oh, this awesome actress is gonna. Oh, never mind. She's not gonna be a part of this anymore. Oh, they're pushing back the dates of the movie because of reasons. Oh, okay. Well,
they're pushing back dates on everything.
On everything except for Deadpool 3.
Well, yeah. Well, they have pushed it back already a couple times,
that's,
but
that's definitely
this is where it's going to stay, hopefully.
Yeah,
The May slot, yeah.
I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about all these movies that are coming out for Marvel, but you know, I think it all comes down to the Deadpool stuff. Like Steven Yeun, he's a fantastic actor. I don't know if you guys have seen Beef, but that show is such a good series, and he stars in it with Ali Wong. She's a comedian / actress. She's a great actress, by the way. Really good dramatic actress. Really, really good show. But every time I see Steven Yeun, it's always excellent. It's so freaking good every time he shows up in something. So when I hear he's leaving this, and the writer of Beef was helping write this movie, then I was like, wait, now what's going... Okay, maybe it really is the conflicts then. Maybe it is the writer's strike that's expecting Steven Yeun to leave, but...
That's what I suspect.
There's also the question of...
a lot of stuff into disarray.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if I'm Steven Yeun, and I just saw Jonathan Majors got fired from Marvel because of all this crazy stuff, and he is he was the center of the next trilogy or the next saga of Marvel's movies. Now I'm entering this movie series going into that mess? Like, is that really what I want to do? You know? I know my favorite writer who helped me write Beef was in this, and he's going to help my character and write me really, really well, but man, are you serious? Like, we're diving into this horrible thing right now, so maybe if I have a chance to get out of this, I probably should, unless I feel confident later down the line that there's something else for me, you know, or that the Marvel Universe is now going into a positive direction again. I don't know. The sky's the limit, you know, but...
I mean, it could... the strikes just seem to be throwing everything into disarray, and, I mean... But he did say I remember reading it. He was very, very careful about choosing his words, and that he doesn't want to burn that bridge with Marvel.
Right.
He said he does want to work with them, and you know, I remember him trying to state it in a way where he didn't want anybody to think that it's because he doesn't like working with them or whatever. It's just simply this other thing. But he did say that he would be open to working with them again in the future if that opportunity should come up again. So,
which I would be more than happy as long as they find him a character that
he's a great actor. So
yeah, it's if the character fits him really well as well, then great. Like, let's do that. But now Lewis Pullman, you know, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I hear the name and my face blanks out or my mind blanks out. My face blanks out too, but that's just regular daily life. But do you know Lewis Pullman? Have you seen him in anything?
I have seen him. I saw him in Top Gun Maverick, and I really liked him in Top Gun Maverick. And
Which character was he in Top Gun?
He Maverick? Was like I can't remember the character's name, but he was like the nerdy looking guy with the glasses.
Oh,
yeah, that's Lewis Pullman. But he is notable for being the son of actor Bill Pullman, who I love so much. This dude, you guys got to look up a picture of Lewis Pullman. Lewis Pullman and Bill Pullman together. Freaking spitting image of each other. I mean, they're like the same person. And so, at least they look like the same person. They're not the same person, guys. But they look like the same person. It's incredible, the resemblance. But from what I saw in Top Gun Maverick, he was great. Now, I don't know, did you ever see the El Royale? Did you ever see that movie?
No.
I was Bad Times at the El Royale. I was curious because I never saw it. So I was curious because I haven't seen anything else that he's in. But I mean, he's trying to make a name for himself, you know, outside of, you know, being Bill Pullman's son. And Bill Pullman, of course, I mean, he comes from a great, you know, falling from the tree of a great actor here. Bill Pullman, I mean, from Spaceballs and good Lord, for Independence Day, my favorite on-screen president, right behind President Bartlett, Martin Sheen's President Bartlett on The West Wing. It's him, and then it's Bill Pullman is God, I forgot his name.
Okay, well, listen, if we're just imagining
President Whitmire,
if we're just imagining the president from that movie as Sentry, then I'm like, oh, okay, then I can totally see this character working. Then, like, that's
we'll cast Bill Pullman as Sentry instead.
But also, I want
the Sentry.
There's like a comparison thing that I've had in my mind, and also I've seen on social media about, you know, Sentry and how we're approaching the character Sentry and how we approached Captain Marvel. how Captain Marvel was the strongest Avenger of all time and blah, blah. And a lot of people really hated on her because they didn't like the whole feminism side of things. But now we've got Sentry, who's like this male character who's now the strongest male character in all of the Avengers and Marvel.
They do this all the time. No, this person's the strongest. Oh, just kidding. This person's the strongest. Oh, Adam Warlock. No, just kidding. Everyone, Adam Warlock's the strongest. They do this all the time.
It's kind of like a weird, it's a weird side-by-side kind of situation. I mean, I have to wait and see what the story of this character is, because it's not really, we're not watching a movie called Sentry or Captain Sentry. We're watching a movie called Thunderbolts, and Sentry just happens to be in it.
If the rumors are true about the fact that Thunderbolts, the plot of Thunderbolts might deal with them having to go and look into the celestial that was stuck in the sea.
Oh my God!
The celestial that's coming. I've heard rumors that is what the plot will be around. Is them looking into that and finally that getting addressed. So if those are to be believed, then you've got this other extra element, this cosmic element involved now, and so it would be an easy gateway to bring somebody like Sentry in if we're dealing with that kind of stuff. So who knows? But again, those are just rumors.
Well, if they end up bringing that guy back to life, the Celestial back to life, it'll probably just destroy the Earth. So instead of bringing him back to life, let's bring back El Muerto back to life, because
El Muerto?
Our last topic of the day is El Muerto. Movie lives again. I wrote that subject.
It's alive. It's alive!
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. This comes to us from Collider. 7 months on from its removal from the release calendar, Sony has quietly resumed the development process for El Muerto, the first Latino-led Marvel film to date. Don't worry, we're all Puerto Rican here. We can say it like that. The project has been slated to star the Puerto Riqueño sensation Bad Bunny in the title role. But amongst a spate of postponements and delays following the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes, here's another strikes thing that's kind of pushing stuff back. The film lost its star and therefore its place on the calendar. However, Variety, in a feature piece about the Sony films based around licensed Marvel characters, has revealed that work on the film has once again resumed with a hunt for a new star back on the agenda. The film was set to be directed by Mexican screenwriter and filmmaker Jonas Cuarón, with the script penned by Blue Beetle writer Gareth Dunnett Alcock. Wow, these are fun names. In June last year, Bunny was asked about the status of the film in the wake of the strikes when speaking to Vanity Fair, to which he replied that he didn't know what to say, adding that the situation was delicate, before a publicist later informed the outlet that he was off the project. Couple of red flags here, my dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But I think this is like, okay. All right. Okay. I'm Puerto Rican, right? You're Puerto Rican. Right? Are we questioning it?
Yeah, we are Puerto Rican. We've made it known quite a few times.
You like your arroz con gandules? I do as well. Good stuff.
Plátano mofongo. Sorry, I'll keep going.
As excited as I am to see a Puerto Rican actor on screen to play a main character for something, I also kind of cringe at the idea of it being someone who's not actually an actor. So maybe we're dodging a bullet by not letting Bad Bunny be the main guy. But also, El Muerto, I believe it's supposed to be a Mexican wrestler.
Right. He's supposed to be a Mexican. Yeah, he's supposed to be Mexican. Listen, I don't know if they'll change that for the movie, but yeah, he in the comics, he's Mexican.
I mean, he's a wrestler's a wrestler. So, like, if you're a Mexican wrestler, that makes more sense than a Puerto Rican wrestler, because we don't really see much of that. We just, like, I guess, use knives, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know what I'm saying.
This is a West Side Story. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, man? Okay, but no, like, it's interesting to me that, you know, the day that we finally get a Puerto Rican guy to star in a film, it ends up being to replace a Mexican actor instead of a Puerto Rican character. You know what I mean? Whereas then you look at Multiverse of Madness, and the girl who plays
America Chavez
is supposed to be Puerto Rican.
The reverse
is played by a Mexican. So, Sony was like, well, if they can do it, so can we.
We'll do the reverse.
Yeah, Puerto Ricans, we'll take all the jobs.
But the difference is they actually got an actor for for Multiverse of Madness. I will say though, have you seen the SNL episode hosted by Bad Bunny?
No.
It's actually pretty hilarious. He actually does a pretty good job. And of course, you know, the writing staff, they do a good job at trying to write sketches around the hosts and their strengths. Mm-hmm. And they did a really great job. He was hilarious. You should check it out if you can on YouTube. But I will say but besides that, Bad Bunny's not really seasoned as an actor, you know, and he's not really the stuff he's shown us. Like, you know, he was cool in Bullet Train, but he didn't do.
I was just about to say, yeah.
Yeah. Just some action scenes and some mean looks and all that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I also feel the same way. I feel like he couldn't. I don't think he's there yet on carrying a film himself. You know, I just didn't see it. Or maybe we're not giving him a chance, you know? Maybe we're not giving him a break to prove us wrong. But
yeah, but to give him a break on a film like this, though. Yeah,
like, and also, if I were him, if I were Bad Bunny, I'd be like, dude, Sony's Marvel universe? I mean, come on, guys. We're trying to do a spiderless Spider-Man universe. I mean, what are you doing, guys? Like, do you really want to be a part of the Morbius universe? It's Morbin time.
Or the Madam Web. We'll see what happens with Madam Web, but
I am speaking so poorly of it, but at the same time, like, it's just because I'm such a big fan of these universes. I want them to be good, and I just don't feel like Sony knows what they're doing exactly with this current universe that they're trying to build. Yeah. Or at least, if they do know what they're doing, they haven't made it clear to anybody on what's going on, because it's just so random and sporadic the way they're doing it. Do we need a Mexican wrestler, a vampire, and Kraven the Hunter, and like, are we building a Sinister Six from different multiverses? Because you could have just done that in No Way Home if you just added one more villain. You know what I mean? Like,
this just feels like DCEU stuff, like just the slapping it together and just like we don't know. We're just gonna make it all fit. You know? Yeah,
if you're trying to make like an Avengers level thing, and that's like, you're just looking at an Avengers film from Marvel Studios and going, that's what we want to do. But you're not paying attention to the building blocks to get there, then you're not going to get what you're hoping to get. You know, like, that's not how that works. That being said, let me also put up another red flag. Oh, man, I feel so bad saying this. I was not a fan of Blue Beetle, the movie Blue Beetle.
I think we talked about this, though.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the characters were awesome. I just think the writing really put me off. But I want to see more of Blue Beetle. Like, I want to see Solo Maridueña, right? That's the name of the actor?
Right, Solo Maridueña.
He was awesome. He's a great Blue Beetle.
I mean, if James Gunn is to be believed, he's, well, at least Blue Beetle, the character, is going to cross over into the new DCU, but I don't know if Solo is coming along with it. I don't know, but I hope he does.
I'm pretty sure he's coming along. He must be at this point. But if anything, if they do bring him back, I just don't want the family to feel so cartoony. You know, that was my problem, was the writing made them feel like they were just so like, this is a film aimed towards 13-year-olds rather than like teenagers. And I'm like, you're all teenagers, though. You're all like young adults. You know, this shouldn't be aimed towards 13. I mean, I get it. The toys. My brain's going everywhere right now.
I thought it was sweet. I liked it. I thought it was charming.
If I brought my son and he was
cold-hearted person,
I'd be like, don't you dare smile throughout this movie. No, not at all. I would be excited because you know, there's some movies that you watch that you're like, this is for a little kid. Like, this is their enjoyment. I'm gonna go to Walmart after this and buy him a Blue Beetle action figure because that'll make him so happy. But
he's gonna scream for one, and then you're like, fine, I'll go get you one.
Okay, no, this is the purple Beetle, Dad. It's the same thing. But you know, anyways, the writer, I guess, for this movie was gonna be the same, which. Again, I am all for the representation stuff, but at the same time, like, can you get maybe a better writer? I don't know. If you're gonna do El Muerto, I don't know. I don't even care about El Muerto. That's how bad it is for me, though. Like, this is my problem: is that Sony is putting together these movies that nobody's asking for because they're just like, hey, let's you guys like you guys like wrestlers? Yeah, Spider-Man fought a wrestler at one point, right? You watch that movie.
Yeah.
When did he fight a wrestler? Oh, you know, in the comics in like 19. I'm gonna stop you right there. 19 what? Like, are you? Nobody talks about it. It's not a popular character. Then I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm maybe I'm.
Is that when Muerto debuted? Is that what was his?
Dude, I'm just making numbers up at this point. I'm just saying, dude. The character just feels so irrelevant. Maybe I'm insulting every comic book fan right now because maybe
I'm
there's
sure
somebody
there's
out
going to
there.
be people screaming at you.
They're like, "How dare you? I've been reading El Muerto since 2005." But it's the kind of thing where it's like it's not as well known. I want to give it a.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking an unknown comic character and then bring him into the forefront in a film, and they've done it very successfully. All the Guardians of the Galaxy were relatively unknowns. You know, they were kind of B, C characters in the comics, and James Gunn brought them to the forefront, and now they're popular, and we all know who they are, and it's possible.
But the problem with that is just the pattern of Sony's films. They've had,
well, yeah, Sony specifically has not had a good track record.
When they put out the first Venom movie, everybody was like, well, Venom, of course. Who doesn't want to go watch a Venom movie? That sounds cool. And then they were like, awesome. Now let's do a Morbius movie. But Morbius is not as popular as Venom. So nobody's going to go watch a vampire thing unless Blade is in it. and Blade's not in it. Spider-Man's not fighting him. Why is this important to us? It tanked in the box office. Jared Leto's career went downhill. Then you have Kraven the Hunter's coming out next.
I think he's still doing fine, though.
Is he?
He's got the Tron movie coming out. He's still working.
Let's give him another chance. I get this time for sure after the 7th movie that he's worked on and not succeeded at. Like, poor Jared Leto. The guy is a good actor. It's just he does not know how to pick his projects. But then, I've been going on a rant about this topic way too long. But
please, keep going.
By all means. Then you have Kraven the Hunter, which all I've heard is that people behind the scenes are saying it's bad. And I'm like, no, Russell Crowe is in it, and he's everybody's dad now, and like everybody's dad's movie is getting bad. Like, come on, Bad Bunny. That's how they thought of the Bad Bunny casting because the movies were so bad that.
Well, you notice. Have you noticed too with Madam Web? The movie comes out like what, in less than a week or something, or in about a week?
It's out.
Only one trailer. They still haven't put out a second trailer.
No movie reviews yet have come out. So like,
I don't know when they're lifting the embargo on that.
If they lift the embargo, like, listen, for all you listeners who don't usually read up on the movie news stuff, if you don't hear any news about a movie until the day before, it probably means that the studio is very nervous about the reviews, and they don't want you to know. All they want is for you to go into the theaters. Spend your money, and then find out it was a bad movie, which you should be able to sue for that. I'm not gonna lie, or at least get your money back for that, because that's.
Don't know if it works that way, but
I think
it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign.
It's definitely not a good sign. But anyway,
and if you don't have a second trailer, I mean, like, or even what, you got nothing else to give us? You got nothing else for me? What? Why should I see Madam Web?
It feels like. I think I said this ages ago to you, Raul, where Marvel Studios has like these awesome like hot toy figures that are like super detailed and awesome, and Kevin Feige built it himself, and it looks so cool, and everybody goes, "Yay, the older brother! Yeah, you're so talented!" And then Sony's like this preschool kid who's like, "Hey, I want to do the toys that my brother's making," and then starts sticking stuff together. And everybody goes, wow.
Just slamming them together.
This
is fighting.
Just breaking, and you're like, oh, wow, good job, you. And then this little kid's looking at Kevin, his older brother, and going, I want to play with that toy. And then Kevin's like, no, dude, get your own. Hey, you share with your little brother now, okay? And then now he's got to share his toy with the little brother. And so now every time he makes a new toy, he goes, ta-da! And everybody just has to go, but no one's mean enough to punch Sony in the face and go, stop it. Stop making these dumb movies. There is a pattern of them failing. What are you doing? You are making the Sony universe of Spider-Man look worse and worse by the day. Stop it. Just put Spider-Man in there and just get me pictures of Spider-Man. Anyways, that is... Is there anybody... See, because it's like the whole deal with like Kevin Feige being a figurehead there at Marvel. You got one singular kind of guy. And then over at DC, now they got James Gunn and Peter Safran, but they've got people in place to guide the thing, right? Right.
I don't know of anybody at Sony who's kind of guiding this thing, or at least, I don't know. I guess is Amy Pascal still involved? in all
Sort
these
of, sort
movies.
of, but
But
no,
if she
but
is,
yes.
I see her more as like coming from the business end of it, Amy
Right.
Pascal. I don't
She's
see
the Peter Safran.
She's the Peter Safran. There's
Yeah.
no James Gunn element. There's no creative drive. And it just sounds like they're just kind of doing whatever and not really sure. Well, what do we can't use Spider-Man because he's borrowed, MCU's borrowing him. Well, we could do animated Spider-Man. Okay, so we got Spider-Verse. That's working great. What else we got left? Okay, Craven, Venom, Madam Web, El Muerto, what else do they do? And they can't put Spider-Man in their movies.
I got it. The Hypno Doctor, and we'll get Childish Gambino to come in and play him for the Spider-Man universe.
Well, he's already Aaron Davis though.
That's right.
Can't get him. But it's just like this is like I said, old DCEU stuff. I mean, there's no clear direction. There's no figurehead that I know of that's driving this thing creatively. There's no plan. Nobody's coming out and saying, this is what's going on. This is what we're building to. We don't have any of that. And that's just so frustrating here.
What Sony needs to do is find someone. They need to find their Kevin Feige, put Kevin Feige in the front and go, this is our man. This is our guy. We put all our faith in him. We are very positive about this, because when you guys are confident about this person, then it makes everybody else comfortable. Like we all feel less on the edge that, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing.
Right.
No. They got a guy. This guy loves the things that they're doing. So like they know what they're doing, and the company has faith in this person. Disney has faith in Kevin Feige. Warner Brothers now finally has faith in their leader, James Gunn and Peter Safran. Sony, you got to do the same thing, because it's just a part of the culture. It's just part of this thing, if there's nobody running it themselves and you just have different corporate names screaming at each other left and right on different ideas that don't even mash up to each other, then it doesn't really work. And also because we as the fan base have basically now grown up with this stuff for the past 12 to 13 years of Marvel movies and DC movies, we're accustomed to that now. So it only makes sense to just follow that part of the crowd and then do your thing,
Right.
But, oh my God, Sony.
I think really, that's all we have to say about that.
But somehow, Sony will always find a way to make it come back from the dead and do something. Their Spider-Verse movies are pretty good.
Oh yeah, I mean those are doing well. It's just their live action stuff that's just, whew. Oh boy.
It feels like the Sony Marvel movies they're still in the early 2000s. Like that's where their level of writing is right now. And that's where I'm like, all right, well, let's pick up the pace, you guys. Learn from the other guys.
Well, I feel like now we're beating a dead spider.
We are definitely. I wish I had my boom thing, but dang, pat on the back for you. Yeah, good stuff. Well, then, listen, everybody. Thank you for listening to that rant. That's the end of our 5 topics today.
That's it.
Please, hey, you know what? If you have a thought about those topics, or that last one specifically, because we really did rant on that one.
Yeah,
let us know.
That's a good juicy one.
Send us an email at realgeeknews@gmail.com. So please, we would love to hear from you guys. But that being said, we have our Movie of the Month. This is our Movie of the Month segment. That's the first time we've ever been able to press that button.
That's right. Finally.
And we will definitely be hearing this more often. Movie of the Month. So, Movie of the Month. This is our segment where we challenge each other to watch a movie we haven't seen yet. And this episode's movie, after months of not talking about our Movie of the Month.
Yes.
I challenged Raul to watch Toy Story 4 eight plus months ago or something like that.
Yes, like back in June? But it was before the strikes.
Right. The strikes. And Raul challenged me to watch The Prestige.
Yeah.
So I just watched The Prestige 5 hours ago.
You waited till the last possible minute.
I was like, okay, we're recording at this time. All right, I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to rent it. Okay, fine. I'll rent it. All right, it's fine. It's only $3, whatever. Watch the movie. Let me give you some quick thoughts on this film here. did not know Andy Serkis was in it, first and foremost.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is. Yep.
Andy Serkis is in it, and he was fantastic. I didn't know he had a New Yorker kind of accent or an American accent that he had up his sleeve just out of nowhere. So that really made my day real good today. But now The Prestige, also, let me just say, this is a Christopher Nolan movie. When I first watched the trailer, I've told this to Raul, and now I'm telling you listeners, in the trailers, Hugh Jackman is a magician, and Christian Bale's also a magician, and Hugh Jackman's trying to figure out this magic thing that Christian Bale did, and so the whole trailer is just him going, "How did he do it? How did he do it? Ah!" And like, as I was watching this trailer, my anxiety was going up because I was like, dude, I don't know how you stop
yelling at me.
My God. And so
stop yelling at me, Wolverine.
Yeah, oh my God, for real. It's like his claws come out. How did he do it?
How did he do that trick?
What was it? How much water did he drink? Like it was just so over the top that I just made fun of it. Me and Raul have had our laughs about it.
Yeah.
And finally I watched the movie and I was like, so that's how he did it.
That was the whole movie.
The whole trailer. They did their job. The trailer was like, how did he do it? And then you're like, damn it. Let me see how he did it. Let me go watch this movie. You watch
That's
the movie.
How they got you. That's how they get you.
But also the way that they did it, I was like, whoa. Like Christopher Nolan, like I just saw so many of his future movies in this movie. Like I especially saw what is it? The atomic bomb one that just came out. Oppenheimer,
yeah.
His conversations from Oppenheimer about, scientists and what they discover and what their knowledge is worth to people was something that really spoke to me in this movie, because you could see he had like very similar ideas in The Prestige when it came to science working alongside magic. But yeah, the Hugh Jackman freaking out stuff after the end of the movie, I was like, oh, I get it. Everybody's horrible. Like everybody's just a terrible person. And but there's magic and there's science as well in this movie, and it works. I thought
great supporting cast too. You got, like you said, Andy Serkis. You got Scarlett Johansson, Michael Caine. You've got even David Bowie makes a short appearance. The late great David Bowie. I remember him being really good in that role.
Who was David Bowie in the movie?
He was Nikola Tesla.
No way! That's
David.
That's
David
Bowie. I didn't recognize him.
Yeah,
Whoa, good for him. My God.
Yeah, he was great. He was great. So just what did you think? Yeah, in general, did you like it? Did you?
Yeah, I hated it. I'm just kidding. No, I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson had a terrible British accent, but that aside, the movie was awesome. I mean, it's a Christopher Nolan movie. Like it wants you to think, but also. I'll end it with this, and then I want to hear about your thoughts on Toy Story 4. When you go to a magic show and you sit there and you go, okay, this is how the guy's doing it. He's doing the magic trick like this and like that and like this and that. I'm watching this movie going, okay, this is what's going to happen at the end of the movie. It's going to happen like this and then like that and then like this and that. And I knew the end of the movie halfway through the movie. That's a lie. Maybe like halfway through the movie, I knew most of the end of the movie.
So you were able to get the twist?
Yeah. Oh, the twist. The twist came immediately as soon as they gave me the first clue halfway through the movie. And as soon as we got to the ending and they were like, "There's the twist," I was
interesting.
Like, "Yeah, I already knew this. This is."
But I remember it got me. It got me at the time that I saw it. This is like 2005, 2006.
But maybe that kind of speaks for itself, though, right? Because it's like the magic trick situation. When you sit in a movie or when you sit in a room with a magician, you're trying to figure out the magic trick. And so I'm over here trying to figure out the movie as if it's a magic trick, and also trying to figure out how did he do it.
It's cool. It does work on two levels like that. Yeah.
But it also makes me want to question what science has done, and what science could do. I would say watch The Prestige and then go right into Oppenheimer right after that, and then just be depressed for 7 days or something. But on the bright side of things, you watched Toy Story 4.
I did. I watched this much earlier than you did, just by a couple weeks, because at the time, actually, I kind of pulled the same thing you did, because we were going to talk about the movie of the month 2 weeks ago in our last episode, but you still hadn't seen The Prestige. But I watched Toy Story 4 like right before we recorded.
And we were totally going to talk about it, but then I guess we were just so caught up talking that we kind of went over it.
Well, I think we decided, because I was going to talk about Toy Story 4 and you would talk about The Prestige for this episode, but I think we decided we just hold off and both of us talk about our movies together. But
very good.
Anyway, so yeah, I watched Toy Story 4 a couple weeks ago, and this is really interesting because the last time I saw any Toy Story movie was Toy Story 3. So when I saw Toy Story 3, I was in college. You know, I was dating my now wife. I was just in a very different point in my life, but because I was in college, it's so interesting. It hit me on the level of, because in Toy Story 3, Andy's going off to college, and that kind of struck me. And that movie made me so emotional, and I remember crying watching that movie. And I remember after coming out of that, going to my mom, like, kept a whole bunch of my old toys. And I remember going to my mom's house and I was like, where are all those toys? Did you put them in the attic? Where are they? And I remember my mom and I going through those toys and just kind of reminiscing and being, oh, thank God, like we didn't give. So it struck me at that. I watched Toy Story 3 at a certain point in my life that it spoke to me in a very particular way. Toy Story 4, same deal. I'm in a different place in my life now, but I watched Toy Story 4 at just the right time in my life because now I have a daughter, and I have a 3-year-old daughter, and now I'm seeing this movie through her eyes, you know, like, you know, she hasn't seen it, but I'm projecting myself as looking at her and her toys and watching her play with her toys and just that kind of, because they talk about, like, you know, the toys that, you know, you're needed for your kid, you know, like your kid needs you, and talking about that relationship and that, you know, the whole, that this is the great things that toys do for kids, is they bring joy during the times when they need it most. And that is something that struck me because I'm kind of watching my daughter play with her toys and really, she's so attached to her dolls, you know, and it's cool to see that now, is like the toys bringing her comfort. You know, she's got her favorite doll that she takes with her everywhere, you know, and I'm trying to imagine now, like, what if we were in the Toy Story universe, and what happens when nobody's at home? What happens to her doll? You know, it's just so fascinating, and it was just heartwarming. And I know, like a lot of people say, and I agree with this, is like, did we need a 4th Toy Story? No, we didn't. You know, we kind of ended at a good place with 3. But adding a 4th one, this 4th one was good, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad it wasn't disappointing. Again, we didn't need it, but we got it, and I really enjoyed it. And it was so nice to see. And now we know there's a 5th one coming out, and I am genuinely curious about where we go from here, because I'm not going to spoil it for you, but the way things end with certain characters in the movie, it makes you kind of go, oh man, what's going to happen now?
Woody dies.
So, they're all dead. They all get crushed. They all get crushed by a semi truck.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Sid comes back. Sid comes back and he finishes the job.
He finishes the job. That's the next movie. It's actually just called Sid. And now it tells you it tells you the entire story of Toy Story 4, but from Sid's point of view. So he goes in and kills them. And then there's the DLC. No, not the DLC. What am I talking about? The Disney Plus show of Sid, The Aftermath. Disney knows what they're doing, man. They've got us right where they want us. I'm telling you. Then you find out that you were the whole toy along the way. Those were
it was you the whole time.
You were the toy. Sorry, you were gonna say something else.
No, just in conclusion. No, I thought it was wonderful. I really enjoyed the hell of it. My favorites. I love Key and Peele. I love everything they've done together. I love Key and Peele, the show. I mean, if you guys haven't seen Key and Peele, oh, just watch it. You'll do yourself so many favors. Just watch Key and Peele. It's hilarious. Anytime those guys are together, and they even in this movie, the ducky and the bunny, I just ate it up. They're so hilarious, and they just, like, I mean, put a smile on my face every time they appeared on screen. And then, of course, Duke Kaboom.
Yes.
Voiced by Keanu Reeves. It was, yeah, I mean, all the great additions to the cast. I know Amy Poehler plays a character in there, and then Bo Peep comes back. I really loved what they did with Bo Peep this time. You know, they kind of upped her level a bit. She's like she's up on the same level as all the other toys now. She's getting in there. She's doing all the action stuff. And they really did a good job reworking her character. And it makes sense. They wrote it in a way where Bo Peep is so different now from the earlier movies, but there's a good reason why. And it makes sense within the context of the movie. So I had a lot of fun. It was great. That's all she wrote.
That is, yeah. I mean, as soon as I saw Duke Kaboom show up, I was like, yeah, this. You can't do a movie like this without Keanu Reeves. I mean, and also that was during the Keanu-sance where he was just showing up in everything. So when he showed up in that, and then SpongeBob right after, you're like, of course Keanu's in this. Yeah, of course he is. That's great. But well, then with that all being said, we got to challenge ourselves for the next time we do a movie of the month challenge. I think I know what I want to give you. Have you ever seen a movie called Dunkirk?
I actually have not seen Dunkirk. Yeah, another Christopher Nolan.
It is a Christopher Nolan movie because you made me watch one, which I loved. And now I want you to watch one. So, and you won't regret it because Dunkirk is a fantastic movie. And it has Cillian Murphy in it. Cillian Murphy and Tom Hardy. So,
I mean, Cillian Murphy's he's been great.
That alone, like, what more do you need? You know, like you got something like that, you know it's going to be awesome. So that is your movie, Dunkirk.
Dunkirk it is.
What is your movie for me, good fellow?
I've been lately thinking about a lot of Quentin Tarantino stuff, and I know there are some gaps in your Quentin Tarantino consumption.
Very true.
So I'm going to give you one of his all-time classics, which is Pulp Fiction. Have you seen Pulp Fiction?
Oh, we've had this conversation before. I always watch the first chapter of Pulp Fiction, or the first sequence, and then I stop watching the movie because something comes up. So I've never actually watched it all the way through. Well,
you've got a reason to finish it now for this podcast. So you're going to watch Pulp Fiction.
All right. Finally, I get to see the Phil Lamar getting his head blown up scene.
Oh, yeah, Phil Lamar. That's
Finally. Oh, man. Okay, cool. Then that's our thing. You got Dunkirk. I got Pulp Fiction for next time. Oh, and man, we got to talk about Quentin Tarantino's final film, which is going to be The Critic, starring Brad Pitt. And hopefully we'll have.
I did hear that. Star. Yeah, I did hear they're bringing Brad Pitt in.
If Quentin Tarantino finds a way to get every single famous actor that he's ever worked with in this movie, just as cameos here and there, I would not be mad about that.
By the way, really quick, I just saw my wife and I were just watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith the other day, and Brad Pitt. I love watching him in anything. It just kind of reminded me of like, oh my god, what a great actor.
He's great. He's awesome.
He's hilarious. He's got so much charm. His acting is effortless. It's like he's not even trying. But anyway. I digress.
Just saying. Anyways,
he's high. That's why he eats so much in every movie. He's always eating.
He eats so much. Exactly. Well, then our next topics here. We got the movie trailers that came out.
Right.
I could talk about all these trailers for days, so I'm gonna have you start off your thoughts on these first. But let me list these off. We got the Avatar: The Last Airbender trailer for Netflix. We got Roadhouse starring Jake Gyllenhaal. We got Monkey Man with Dev Patel. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire with Paul Rudd and the rest of the Ghostbusters team from the last movie as well. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare with Henry Cavill and a bunch of other badasses. Raul, what are your thoughts on any of these? Do any of these guys stick out in your head that you want to discuss?
Oh, God, there's all these trailers have looked really good.
They were so good.
They've all been, it's hard to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, I will say, Kevin, you're probably going to hate me for this. I have not seen the show. I've not seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. I know. I have not seen the show. But this trailer, for having not seen the show, I was still hooked. And it got me really interested in not just the animated show, but I want to watch this show, the live action show, because the trailer looked good. It was so compelling. And just beautiful to look at. And the fighting looks really cool, and just all the elements. And, I'm pretty excited about seeing that in live action.
Plus, it's so close to the source material this time around when compared to the movie version. Like the movie version, you have like a whole army of dudes going, oh, yeah, ah! And then like
I heard the Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Shyamalan version is not good.
Yeah, this one, even the casting looks so good. The acting looks great. The SFX looks awesome. I mean, the VFX looks awesome. Everything. So good. Sorry, did you have any more thoughts on that one?
No, it looks great.
I can't wait. I can't wait for this series to come out. I've heard people talking about how, like, oh, well, you know, some things are taken out of the series because they didn't really make sense for us. Some things being, like, gender-specific wise, which a lot of people are saying, like, oh, that's the reason why the creators of the show left it early, huh? And it's, you know, I'm one of those people that's like, well, let me watch the show first, and then I'll see why these producers said that in the first place. Because if I watch it and it genuinely makes sense as to why they didn't need to add that, then great, cool. As long as I got a good story, high quality storytelling, great. I'm not watching this live action series to go watch the original story. If I want to do that, I'll go back and watch the animated series.
Right.
This is supposed to be a different experience in live action that is heavily inspired by the original series. So you should not go into it expecting shot for shot, word for word, everything that happened in the original is going to happen here. But damn, is it close based on the trailers. So, you know, that's me. But let me jump into Roadhouse for a second. No,
Roadhouse.
I could jump into any of these. These are all so good. Roadhouse. Roadhouse is, I've never seen the original Roadhouse, by the way.
You know what? I haven't either.
That'll be our next list.
We should have given each other Roadhouse.
We'll both watch Roadhouse. We'll talk about it next time.
I do want to see it, though.
I do, too.
The original,
well, maybe we should plan that. All right,
Let's,
good.
Yeah.
But Jake Gyllenhaal is such a smooth talker and such a smooth fighter in this movie. Just the trailer alone, it looks like so much fun.
And he's so jacked, too, man.
And he's so jacked. I like that they're combining like a UFC thing with it too. Like, listen, don't get me wrong. Conor McGregor does not seem like he's going to be the most Oscar-worthy actor of this film. Okay, like I'm not expecting that. But if that guy's having a good time in the movie, then I'm going to have a good time. And the trailer
looks like
alone,
he's having fun.
Yeah, totally. So we get to watch Conor McGregor and Jake Gyllenhaal beat the crap out of each other. Let's do it. All right, I'm in. Any thoughts from you on this one?
No, this looks fun. This looks super fun. I'm really curious. I want to see the original first, and this one looks funny. It looks like fun, and it does look funny too. You know, there's the part in the beginning where it's like, before we start fighting, do you guys have any insurance? Blah blah blah. Where's the closest hospital?
Yeah, being funny, huh?
Yeah. So there's like
just the smack scenes, like dude,
yeah,
faking out the smack and then smacking with the other hand.
Open palm fighting. I thought that I've never seen open palm fighting look so cool.
That cracked me up
in my life. But then in this, he just like knocks these guys out with just slaps. That's great.
So good.
But yeah, I'm excited for this. This looks like it looks like it'll be really cool. The action looks cool too.
Well, then we also have Monkey Man. As soon as they put in the music, I was like, I lost it. Then it turns man, my words are like, I'm exploding. I'm so excited.
You're excited, Kevin. You're excited for this movie. As am I.
It is John Wick combined with El Muerto, combined with Jordan Peele, who is producing this movie.
It was going to be streaming, but then he bought it, right? He bought it and was like, no, I'm going to put it theatrical.
It's going in theaters, baby. Yeah. And the trailer alone hyped me up so much. Like, also, keep in mind, I watched Roadhouse, then The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, then Monkey Man. One after another.
So much testosterone.
The adrenaline rushing through my body was like, ah! So for all I know, I could go watch this movie when it comes out and I'm going to be like, it's not as cool as I thought.
I want to beat something up now.
All I wanted to do is swing my fists in the air. Like, oh man, everybody in these trailers looks so cool. But any thoughts on Monkey Man from you? Because I'm literally going off.
I mean, no, it looks great. I've been going through like all these like revenge action thriller movies lately. Like there's all the John Wick stuff. I've been seeing the Equalizer movies. I saw Nobody finally not too long ago. So I'm kind of in this mode of these kinds of action movies, and I'm seeing this trailer. I'm like, oh yeah, this is I want to see this.
Oh, yes.
Dev Patel, he's directing it too, right? He's directing it. This is his feature film directing debut, right?
And he's also, yes, it totally is. And it's also the reminder of it made me think of how, this came out right as the Avatar: The Last Airbender trailer came out. And so you can't help but think of the original movie live action film. Dev Patel played Prince Zuko in the original film. And the Fire Nation, like everything about the movie was so bad. His performance was great. I just think he was miscast in this movie.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, it's like, it's very poetic. It rhymes. Like that he showed up. His trailer shows up right as the Avatar trailer showing up. And you get to see Dev Patel being like, that movie's beyond me. Like,
I've moved on.
I've moved on. Look at me.
I'm directing now.
I'm John Wicking everybody and putting on a monkey mask. Like, dude.
He looks badass. I've never seen him like that before.
I don't think I've... this movie, and then the last movie he was in, the Green Knight, I think it's called.
Yeah, The Green Knight. The
Green Knight was a phenomenal movie. It was very, very... It was a poem. It was definitely a poem. But this movie... I mean, come on. I'm in. I'm so in. But let me jump onto the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah.
Because when you put Henry Cavill looking like a wild man with a big old beard, and then you got Queen music playing at the same time.
Yeah.
And then Alan Ritchson, I think his last name is, the guy who plays Jack Reacher in the Jack Reacher Amazon series.
Right. He was also in Fast X, too.
Oh my God, there was so much testosterone coming from that movie and so much fun badassness.
Henry Golding also.
Henry Golding.
Crazy Rich Asians.
There's so many cool people in this movie. It looks like so much fun. And I think this is the Guy Ritchie film that's coming out, right?
This is Guy Ritchie. Yeah, this is the one he's done right after, The Gentleman. The Gentleman, and now there's the History of Mystery of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
I mean, dude, what else do I need? Like, I'm so in. I want to watch this movie so bad. I want to watch all these things so badly.
If anything, for just seeing Henry Cavill, I like seeing people like outside of their element, like, like with Dev Patel. Now he's doing like action stuff. Henry Cavill, he's like hilarious doing all this. I haven't seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E., but I mean, I know he does. I know he does not just action, but there's like some comedy in there as well. But this is like a different level. This is like, Man from U.N.C.L.E. is like kind of more like James Bondy, like poking fun at that kind of thing, the subtle kind of comedy. This is like, he's just crazy. He's just like nuts in this, and he's doing. It's very refreshing to see Henry Cavill kind of do other things now. It
almost feels like he's just like, screw it. I'm gonna do whatever I want now. Like if I'm not going to be Superman anymore, I'm not going to be pigeonholed as this character anymore. I'm going to move on and do whatever I want. I'm going to be a crazy dude. If I can't be James Bond, I'll be a crazy version of James Bond in this movie.
Right.
And it's going to be so cool. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think Argyle just came out recently in theaters, and I heard bad things. But
I've heard it's not good,
The only reason I consider going is just because Henry Cavill's in it. So the man has a fan base. It's just a matter of, can we get the fan base to show up to the theaters?
Yeah.
Will I go to the theaters this weekend? We'll find out. Who knows? But last thing was the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Now, Raul, you're a big fan of Ghostbusters. So, like, how did you feel about this trailer, first and foremost?
I liked it. I thought it showed me exactly kind of what I was hoping for. And of course, it was nothing groundbreaking as far as trailers go, but it's fun. It looks like to be a continuation of what was fun about the one before, Afterlife, and I thoroughly enjoyed Afterlife. And this trailer just shows, kind of gives me the same vibe of like how fun it is, to watch these movies. And I think everybody's great. It looks like the older cast they're all gearing up. Even Janine is gearing up. She's all suited up and stuff. They're bringing everybody back. It seems like they've all, even the older cast, they've got like a pretty substantial part in it again. So it's pretty. They even brought back Dickless. They brought back William Atherton from the first movie, and from he's also the kind of the asshole reporter from Die Hard. So they brought him back here. He's like a politician now.
Heck yeah.
But it's really cool. So I don't know. I loved it. All the callbacks, it got me excited. I don't know. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's maintaining my excitement level. There's nothing I've seen yet that I'm like, I don't know. So
yeah, I heard a lot of people, like a lot of the really hardcore Ghostbusters fans were like, oh, stop being nostalgic. I don't like nostalgia. As someone who didn't grow up watching Ghostbusters, I've only watched it fairly recently. I think the trailer itself was awesome. Like to me,
I grew up watching Ghostbusters, and I still enjoyed it. I love the trailer.
Well, I think a lot about like I have like this comparison from this movie, the Ghostbusters movies, to Beetlejuice, where Beetlejuice, I'm excited for the sequel because when I watched the first one, I thought to myself, I see exactly what Tim Burton wants to do in this movie, but he's not. I don't feel like he's getting to do what he wants to do. Like he's showing as much as he can, but he's not able to use everything to its full potential to make this movie look as awesome as it can. So the second movie I'm hyped for because now it's 2024. He has all the VFX, all the SFX that he needs, everything, every actor, everything's incredible, all the equipment to make this happen and look the way he's always wanted to visualize it. So it feels the same way with Ghostbusters. This trailer made me go, oh man, am I hyped to see a ghost. Like a ghost that freezes things, like it looks so scary.
That's different. Yeah, that's interesting.
When I saw the trailers or when I saw the original Ghostbusters movies, my initial thought was like, oh, you know, the effects, that's all they could do for the time being, you know, and it was for kids sort of, so like I get it. This one feels like it's more for like teenagers and like a little bit older than that, and you know, the nostalgia group of people as well. But like hopefully at the end of the day, it's a good story and people love it. And we all forget about the all-female cast of Ghostbusters that did not succeed. Sorry, guys. I love it, but I don't love it. You know what I mean?
There were things I liked about it, but yeah, as overall, it was disappointing.
Amen. But with that being said, everybody, we made it to the end. Thanks for listening, everybody. You can follow us on all social handles at Real Geek News, at Kevin A. Rivera VO, and at Raul Ceballos VO.
That's right. Of course, we have a YouTube channel where we put this episode up. You can see videos. We break up all our segments into separate videos as well. Of course, we've got our full movie reviews as well, which hopefully we'll get back around to doing soon. We'll find a movie and we'll review it. We'll put it all up there. You know, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you can get notifications.
Someday. Also, let us know how you feel about our show with reviews on Apple Podcasts and our email, realgeeknews@gmail.com.
And if you send us a question, we could read it on the show too.
That's true. That's
yeah.
With all that being said, stay safe, stay classy.
That's my line.
And most important of all,
stay geeky, my friends.
Dear Jesus.